We've done all of the Broly building workouts. We've got all the stuff worked out for the muscles and the cardio and all of that stuff to get nice, big, strong, and fast. But there's something that we're missing. We need to work on some mobility and some flexibility. And so that's where this movement workout is going to come into play. And this Real Anime Training video is going to work out just a little bit differently because you're going to follow along with me as I do this workout. Now, you're going to go through the whole thing and you're going to repeat it as many times as you want to repeat it. Make sure you stick around afterward because I'm going to give you some instructions on how to do the movement workout as a whole. All right, without further ado, let's get right into it. Okay, to start off this movement sequence, we are going to begin in a deep squat. So I want your feet just outside your hips. You can have your toes slightly turned out. You're going to move from your hips and have a nice straight back. You don't want to have rounding of the spine here. Hands are going to be up. They can be up in front of you or they can be up over your head as far as you can get them. Keep those knees driven out. As you're in this position, you can kind of move around, try to turn a little bit in each direction. And feel what's going on. And you want to try to take nice, slow, deep breaths while you're doing this. We're looking to hold this position for 5 deep breaths. And you can see here that I'm shifting my weight a little bit, trying to find spots that are tight. I move my heels out here just to kind of get more into that position, drive my knees out, and work the squat a little bit differently. Going to move right into the Cossack Squat, so I'm going to push that leg out and point that toe up toward the ceiling. And at the very beginning of this, you might be tight, so you might be bent over a little bit. As you get a little bit better, you'll sit down into your heel and your hip, and you'll be able to come up a little bit more vertical with your torso. But you're going to feel that stretch in your hamstring and in the hip on the side that is squatting. You're going to hold that for 5 breaths, and you're going to shift over to the other side and point that toe up, and you're going to repeat that process. So 5 more breaths. Nice, slow, deep breaths. As you get better at this, those deep breaths will be slower, so you'll spend more time in each of these positions. As we end those 5 breaths, we're going to transition into a runner's lunge, where we are going to twist over the knee that is supporting us. So we're going to try to keep a nice tall spine, drop that hip so that we can stretch that hip flexor, and we're going to support ourselves with our hands on our knee if we have to, and really try to get some twist in that spine. Once again, 5 nice, slow, deep breaths while we are in this position. Hands down, foot back, other foot comes up, and other side. So we're really stretching that hip flexor on the other side, trying to get that hip closer to the ground. The lower you can get in this stretch, the better it's going to be, but that will come with time. Really controlling those breaths. From this position, we're going to move into an overhead reach with thoracic extension. So you're going to stand up, and you're going to bring your hips all the way forward by squeezing your glutes, and you're going to reach up and back over your head, looking at the ceiling. I don't want you to try to bend from your lower back. That bend is primarily coming from moving from your upper spine, so really think about stretching that out. Nice deep breaths. We're trying to breathe into the belly. The next thing we're going to do is a forward bend, and there's lots of different ways to do this forward bend. It can be a just complete rounding of the spine for just a little bit to get a nice stretch. It can be a flat back forward bend. Actually, I would probably just kind of move around as you breathe, get some tight spots, feel it around. That's how a lot of this is going in each of these movements, is that we are just kind of getting in a general position and then moving around it so that we can work out any tight spots that we have. So you can see here that I'm kind of just flexing and extending my knees just a little bit and really pushing my hips back, moving around on each side of my hip to get those tight spots. And I'm also got my hands on my hamstrings, kind of massaging them. From this position, we are going to do a Broly waist twist. So the hand position is not super important. You see I've got one high and one reached over my body. You'll see as I do this that I am going to be switching on each breath, each deep breath, and I'm going to be changing my hand positions to stretch a little differently. So you can see here as I switch around, I've got one hand high and then I reach out to the side, and then I'm going to really try to stretch on that side. And then I come back, repeating what I just did on the other side. And now I'm going to open up and stretch wide with both arms. It's really just whatever you feel like you need in that position. External rotation, palms are up. Deep breath, turn, again. Just giving you examples of things that you can do, and I'm reaching overhead. Nice stretch on the outside there. All right, from this position, we are going to go into a downward dog. All right, so you're going to try to keep your legs as straight as possible. Try to push those heels toward the ground. We're really pushing back into the shoulders so that we have a straight line from our palms all the way to our hips. When you're in this position, really focus on your breathing. This isn't too difficult of a position, so really focus on slowing those breaths down. From this position, we're going to swoop down into the cobra position. So you can see here that as I start to swoop down, I've got my toes planted, but then I'm going to move to the tops of my feet. And once I do that, I'm going to be supported with the tops of my feet and my hands. My hips are actually not touching, and I'm looking toward the sky. I'm pressing down into the ground with my hands so that I'm not shrugging my shoulders. Nice deep breaths. You're going to feel a lot of stretch in your midsection every time you breathe deep into your belly on this one. From this position, we are going to push back and then come up into another runner's lunge. I'm going to put my opposite hand down and then reach above my head toward the ceiling with my other hand in a nice twist. Really focus on that twist. If you can get a little bit closer at the very beginning, if you can get your hand and your foot a little bit closer, that's good. If not, that's perfectly fine. You can see I've got this twist here. Nice deep breaths in each position. I want to hold each position for 5 breaths. So we're not switching on every breath on this one. We are holding each one for 5 breaths. All right, when done with that, we're going to go into a power-up stance. So this is much like when Broly is powering up during the either movie, any movie that you've seen him in, really. And we've got a nice wide chest open position, mouth open wide, and we are stretching out the chest muscles and the front of the shoulder, and we are also stretching our jaws and our necks because we stay bent over so frequently and we grind our teeth and we chew so much. We don't really stretch like we need to for the opposing side of those muscles. So this is a really good stretch for it, even if it looks a little goofy. All right, so we're going to do 5 breaths in each one of those positions. As you get better at this and you are able to control your breathing a little bit more, you'll be able to spend a longer time in each one of those positions for those 5 deep breaths. But that doesn't mean that you're only going to go through it one time. Now, at the very beginning, you may only be able to go through it one time, and that's perfectly fine. But one time is the minimum. And then at that point, if you feel like you want to go through it 2, 3, 4 times, that's up to you. You can repeat it as many times as you feel like you need to feel nice and loose. And then after the workout, after you've completed it as many times as you want to complete it, you're going to walk for 30 minutes. We're just going to get out there and move so that we can get the recovery benefits of light cardio, because it's going to activate the parasympathetic nervous system, it's going to get the blood flowing, and everything's going to be nice and flushed out. So this is the workout that you use at the end of the week as a recovery workout. So we're technically training every single day, but we are training different things, which allows us to be able to be improving on things all the time. And this is easy enough where it works as a rest day. Alright guys, I really hope you enjoyed this workout. I really enjoyed making it. It was a lot different than what we normally do here. And I think that it's going to be really beneficial for you guys, especially if you're lacking a flexibility or a stretching program or something about your mobility is a little bit off. And if you're looking for some more training resources, you can get those in the link in the description. And if you want to help us make more content like this, you can become a patron. We would love to have you. That link is also in the description. And I want to thank you guys so much for sticking with us for Dragon Ball Month. We are almost at the very end. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, good luck and train hard.
And a most special thanks to all of our Patreon supporters. If you wish to be a part of the community we are building to become heroes, go to patreon.com/BillResident.